Joel Gress, thanks for joining us. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are, what company you work for now, and what you do there.
All right, terrific. Hey, Tim, great to see you. Thanks for having me. My name is Joel Gress with SWK Technologies, formerly of Dynamic Tech Services. Happy to be part of the SWK team and having a great time here at Summit.
So, when did that acquisition happen? It was somewhat recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, we finalized the deal at the end of the year, and as of 1/1, 2022, Dynamic Tech became part of SWK Technologies, creating what I believe to be the biggest Acumatica partner in the world, which is terrific.
Wow. So that's got to be a big change for you. How long did you own Dynamic Tech?
Well, according to LinkedIn, it was 25 years and 5 months.
Wow. And now you're a what's the official term? You're not an owner, you're an employee, or how's that work?
Yeah, can you see my tag? It says Vice President.
Okay, vice president. So you got demoted, but I hopefully you did well in the acquisition.
I think it was a promotion. You know what I gained was an incredible team, lots of resources. The knowledge base there is immense. I mean, one of the things that we see with Acumatica is incredible opportunity. Lots of customers saying we need cloud ERP, and Acumatica is the player in that space. But finding the experienced team members to actually do the implementation and support the customers is a challenge. By mixing with SWK, we've just got this incredible team with incredible depth, and we've also got the development resources to make it happen for customers. So 2022 is just going to be a rocket ship of a year for us, and we're excited for that. We're excited for our customers. We're excited for all that we can bring to them. And I'm also honored to have received the MVP award for the 7th time. And that, I think that's an exclusive group. That makes me one of 5 people in the world to have that MVP. And I'm joined with several team members at SWK in that award: Mary Abdian, Seth Coons, Michelle Hesketh, and Sharon Conkey, 2 of my former Dynamic Tech team members. So
That's
pretty
awesome.
excited. Yeah.
Good rocket ship point there. It seems like a lot of VAR partners are experiencing being able to sell Acumatica so well because it's booming, but then being difficult to actually fulfill all the implementations on the back end. Sounds like at SWK you got a big team. How big is the team there?
Well, that's a good question. The team is growing, so I can't give you a specific number right now. I know that we increased the team by 30%. They've hired some new folks. They've transitioned some people from other parts of the organization into the Acumatica space because it's growing so fast. So I can't speak to specific numbers, but I can tell you we've got the right team with the right expertise. One of the things I always said in this space is it's really hard to hire junior people and bring them in and have success. They've got a great senior staff. They've got a lot of depth. They've got a lot of knowledge, and it shows when we bring them together with customers. Just last night, we had a customer event over at Le Cave, and there were, the room was full, but I can tell you there were at least 40 customers and prospects that are attending the event. WK, that's a substantial number of people. These people are invested in Acumatica, and they're working with SWK to make it happen. And I think that just speaks volumes. And as I watch the team just gravitate around the room, answering questions for customers, you could see the smiles on their face and almost a little bit of relief as they could see, hey, they came to the right place and they're going to get the answers they need.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and the best part was I really didn't have to do much.
On that point, what's it like for you personally now, transitioning from being an owner to being a vice president? What's been the biggest change for you, and the thing you're getting used to the most?
Well, I think out of the gate, you go from being top dog to being a stray dog. Slowly you get taken into the pack and you find your way. Everybody at SWK is very warm and welcoming, and it really, for me, it's a great relief to be part of such a wonderful team. They've given me a lot of latitude to find my space and how I can contribute and kind of just help the Acumatica community and help SWK. Which leads me to a more latitude to re-engage with the Acumatica user group and trying to move that forward. And what's great about that is that SWK has a large customer base already. So we've got a great group of Acumatica customers to get the user group going again, which is very nice.
I'm glad you brought that up. We've had a conversation about that on a podcast a while ago. What's your current involvement with what is it, in person, or what do you got going on user group wise these days?
Yeah, Tim, in our last podcast, we talked a little bit about my vision for the user group, and it was a mix of in-person and people remotely kind of in pods. And that was, pre-pandemic. And I actually think that everyone going through the pandemic is kind of embracing that kind of mode of operation now. So I think it bodes very well for reinvigorating the user group in a format where there are some groups of people meeting in a variety of areas. They're connected remotely, viewing some shared content, and then having their own experience within their group as well. So I'm very hopeful that in this year of 2022 that we'll have some nice announcements sponsored by SWK to have some user group events that involve some other people, including folks from the Acumatica staff and other bars.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I guess I was worried that the acquisition would maybe take you off the user group map. It sounds like you're still very much on the map, so I'm glad to hear that.
Well, it's one of the things I really do enjoy is the user group. Acumatica has always been a great community, and I know there's a lot of folks out there that are using Acumatica, and they really haven't been able to get together with other folks and get into the community. The community platform that Chris Hackett's now the monitor of, has been a great resource for people. But I just think that you really need to have some in-person events. You need to get some people connected so that they can ask questions. I've got some ideas on some formats to not only have people connect within the user group, but build connections outside of the user group and continue to build their own pods and move things forward.
I like the word pod for that. I'm trying next month on I can't remember the date off the top of my head. I think it's February 24th. Booked a room here in Columbus, Ohio. Going to try a little user group format, and I think of it like a pod. I mean, I'm not thinking of it as a top-down thing. I'm thinking of it as try something out, and you're going to try stuff in Atlanta, and other people can try stuff in other places. And when you say Acumatica community, to me, that's the broader context of something that's not necessarily controlled. Everyone's trying out their different things, and we're all building the community in different ways. So I like that word for that. The pod is a great word to describe when boots on the ground in a location, what you're doing to contribute to the community.
Right. I think it also speaks that we don't all have to get together in one central place, and that those pods can be connected to one another. So I'm really interested to hear how your event goes up in Columbus. Do you have a format for it?
I do. I'm still fleshing it out, so that'll be kind of like the unveiling of the format. We'll see. But I don't put a whole lot into it up front. I'm more of a try it out, and if it falls flat, iterate from there and see what happens.
Well, it's always good just to kind of mix and match and get the users involved and get their input as well. Everybody always likes a user panel. That's one of the concepts that we had at one of our previous user events. It was kind of like the dating game. The only difference was that, we'd have each of the customers talking about what they do, and it was the audience picking who they wanted to connect with. I
like that. Yeah, then you know who you want to talk to afterwards because you've heard it straight from the person on stage, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Who speaks to you, who connects, who's in your industry, who's doing things that you want to understand and replicate within your organization, and what can you share back with them? It's been interesting is one of the Acumatica developer MVPs, who's with CTEC, Brian, I was speaking to him, and he was talking about starting off a community project. And a community project around creating a equipment management module that's specific to an industry that he's operating in. Really deals with factory equipment, and when a machine goes down, it needs a part. How do we requisition that part and make sure the machine gets repaired? But the whole point is that he's starting a community project, something that he's going to put some development time into and ask other developers to contribute to, that's going to be open and out there in the community. I think we've seen this with a WMS product that came out of, I want to say, either Australia or New Zealand. Have you seen that?
Yes, I had him on my podcast recently. Yes.
Okay. I got to catch up on your podcast,
It's
Tim.
basically
I
sorry, go
should
ahead.
have a little more time now, but it's not happening just yet.
Well, no, I like the idea that, a community is more than just a GitHub link, especially from a development standpoint. Yeah, you got the GitHub framework and foundation to collaborate from a technical standpoint, but then it's all about connecting and how you do that in person versus like what we're doing right now, a live broadcast or whatever is kind of a creative side of it, right? And I like that we're both kind of experimenting with different things to see how to contribute to build the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to us collaborating in the future and putting some of these pieces that we both have success with together and kind of rolling that out to the larger community.
So I got to ask if you have something on the calendar yet for something in Atlanta this year. You still working on that?
Not just yet. I've got some meetings to have yet. And, what is this, the 21st, 22nd of the month? So I'm 22 days into being with SWK. So there's a few things I need to figure out yet.
Well, let's definitely compare notes. And one thing I like about this live broadcast format, we didn't prep before this, so I got to find out live that you're still involved in user groups. And so I'm super excited. This is my actual, I'm not faking this here. I'm very excited as soon as I heard you say that.
Excellent. Well, I'm excited by it as well. There's nothing like getting in front of the customer and talking to them about what it is they're trying to solve for, and then coming up with ideas on how you can solve. I mean, it's the reason I got into ERP is because it's a puzzle. I like solving this kind of puzzle that helps businesses. And so when you get into the user group, now you've got a bigger group of people trying to work together to solve each other's problems. And, it's a community of puzzle solvers.
So I got to ask you too on that. You got another 5 minutes or so?
Okay.
I got to ask you then, from your perspective as a VAR, now at SWK, I know a lot of VARs have a concern when people come together in a community because now they're talking to each other. They might all have different VARs, and that makes a lot of VARs nervous, that they might lose the customer. What's your take on that? Or what do you say to other VARs to help alleviate that kind of concern?
Be part of the conversation. And that's the key. If you're talking to your customers, you're sharing knowledge with them and you're keeping them informed, then you're doing your part to keep them as your customer. And that's what we all need to do. I mean, whether you're trying to communicate with them or keep them separate from other communications, it's just not going to happen. The information's out there. They're going to follow it. They're going to find it. They're going to engage with it. So just join the conversation. I think everybody's very respectful within the community. They honor that customers are with other partners. They also honor the choice of customers. And that's just something we need to continue to do. Right?
I really like that line.
Yeah.
That's a great line. The conversation is happening with or without you. Join the conversation. This is 2022. This is not 1990. You can't keep people off of Google, off of social media. The conversation's happening. It's great to join it rather than, try to pretend it doesn't exist. I like that. That's great.
Yeah, and I think we need to look at the partners that are out there and the things that they're doing that are successful in educating and communicating to the customers. And we need to try and make that come into the fold of the user group and make it more accessible to everybody.
I like Tim. I think it's Tim Thompson from Crestwood on stage this morning. I can't remember his exact words, but he made the point about, with their customers, they bring in outside parties. They're not afraid to bring in outside parties, kind of along those same lines. They're joining the conversation, not keeping someone isolated. I like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of smart people out there that have ideas, and we just need to listen to them. And there's a lot of them out there that I think are actively contributing on the Acumatica community, but it's hard to sift through all of those conversations and find those individuals or those strengths. I mean, even if you search, it still is a challenge to find that conversation piece. I mean, you've been great in all the content you've put out there. I know you and I together have had lots of ideas that we've put out to Acumatica as well as other partners. Bringing those forward into a conversation in a larger community to hear face-to-face feedback from people on it, I think would be very helpful.
Well, I'm looking forward to continuing being part of the conversation with you here in 2022. And thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule, I'm sure, at Summit to join us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want a view of the Summit floor before you leave?
Sure. Let's take a look.
All right. All right.
You can even walk us around if you want. Maybe take us around a corner or two.
Hello, podcast world.
Hello.
Yeah, here's a little bit of the folks that are out here. What they're doing.
Very cool. Looks like the Acumatica booth's right in the middle there, huh?
It is. It is. It's a good show. And Tim, you're going to have to share some of your technology with me. We might be able to use it in the future.
Well, let's do it. Let's exchange some emails. I'm happy to be transparent.
Sounds good.
All
Take
right,
care.
Joel. Thanks again.
Alrighty. Bye.